Welcome to Long Shadow Farmstead. I'm Daryl. It's a rainy morning in August. First rain we've had in months, which is welcome. Fortunately, it's not too cold. I don't know if you can hear the echo, but I've built a great big echo chamber here. And we're in the process of tightening all the bolts. So I'm probably going to publish this before other videos that we've made on the construction, and I will publish those. I just need to get time to edit them. This one I'm hoping I can put up pretty much without editing. I'm going to switch you over so you see our progress outside. So the tractor has been relegated to counterweight status. You can see there's a rope going up on the roof. We climb up with ladders to a certain extent, and then we use ropes to get up on top to hold the bolts. And we've marked the inside of the dome where we've tightened. We have a scissor lift for a short time, so we want to get the high work done with that as much as we can. So we're tightening the top 3 sections in each arch with that, and then the lower sections from those red marks down we can do with ladders and with our scaffolding. We could do it all with the scaffolding, it's just really tedious. But there's not much about putting up one of these that isn't tedious. I did check this morning, and the rain actually is beneficial in that it allowed me to check and make sure that it's not leaking anywhere, and it's not leaking anywhere that we've tightened it, which is awesome. So I'll run you around and show you our countermass on the other side. We got a form right there for pouring large concrete block retaining for a retaining wall. There's our first one. It weighs about 1,350 pounds, so probably not going to pull that anywhere by falling on the rope. These bolts have the washer underneath the bolt head. It's a flange bolt, and tightening the nut on the back side sucks them straight down and extrudes out that washer and gives a really tight seal. Let me show you the tools that I put together. This is a torque limiting clutch that I bought from McMaster Carr. And tightening these bolts, they get tightened to 8.46 foot-pounds, which converts to about 101 inch-pounds. I had to buy an inch-pound torque meter to calibrate it. On the end, I don't know if you can see it here, but there's a spline and a splined washer that goes in it, and the washer has flats that fit on the 3/8 inch drive that comes out of the clutch. I would take off that socket and show it to you more clearly, but the socket kept falling out and dropping from the top of the scaffolding, which was rather a bother, so I epoxied it on. So a torch should heat it enough to pull it off if we need to replace it. But I found also, you can see the end here is ground. The original socket had a tapered lead-in to feed it down onto a bolt head or nut. But I found, let me show you the nuts that we got with this kit. So some kits, some companies provide you with a hex nut, with a flanged hex nut with little one-way ridges on them that help to keep them tight. This company provides square nuts, and I don't know if you can see it, but there's a slight concave side on the side that goes toward the building, and that allows the corners of this nut to dig in and provide kind of a locking mechanism. We're tightening from the nut side so it pulls the washers straight down, because all of the all of the bolts on this bottom connecting plate we tightened by tightening the bolts on the outside. And as it extruded the washer, sometimes the washer would squirt out from under it, and we were warned in the documentation that if you tighten the bolts too tight, it will tear them and then they'll leak. So we tried it on these because these are on a section that's almost vertical, and I wasn't happy with the results, so we're tightening from the back side.
Good morning.
Here's my trusty sidekick, Keegan, and his lovely daughter, Anna. Anyway, so if you notice on the other side, there's a bit of a lead-in on the top of the nut, and that combined with the lead-in on the socket only gave you about a 32nd of an inch purchase, and it was really hard to keep the socket from slipping off the nut. So I cut off the end of the socket, and this is a special socket. It's 16 millimeter at Home Depot, but it has kind of a splined interior, which is perfect for these. It just happens to perfectly fit the square nut, and I imagine it fits 16 millimeter hex as well. And then the other tool that I made was a tool that extends the the wrench function for tightening the bolts. And if you're at an odd angle and you can't get the box end wrench on, this open end wrench works fairly well. And the handle is about 4 feet long, gives you quite a reach when you're up on the roof, so you don't have to reposition as often. And at this point, we're just about halfway on the upper 3 sections. So once we get that done, and we've finished this lower section all the way across here, and once we get the upper section done, then we have the intermediate section on this side and the intermediate and lower section on this side, and we'll be done tightening. And then we put on the all thread that's going to hold purlins down the entire length of the side, every third bolt. And I'll show you that when we get to it. So, now you know where we are. Have a good day.